Good evening, free enterprise fans, RPG Limit Break fans, and welcome to game one of the finals of the Lali-Ho League. My name is Zoe Vermillion, and like it or not, I am here for the finals, just not in the position I wanted to be. And I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the one who doesn't play free enterprise for some reason, Rivers McCown. How you doing?
Like it or not, I'm also here for the finals. We've got a great matchup between Dusty and xPankraz. These two players were number 2 and number 3 in the bracketology as far as who would win at the very beginning when we picked everything. 24% of people picked Pankraz and 18% picked Dusty. Zoe, who is going to win bracketology, picked Pankraz to win this 2-1. So, how do you feel about that pick in this moment?
I'm feeling pretty good. Like it feels like I scripted out bracketology. There was a few moments where the runners decided to ad lib and go off script, but for the most part, things have gone pretty well for me. I'm all in on Pankraz here, but I'm going to be impartial in the booth and root for a good match. I just hope Dusty brought his appetite because he's got a big stack of pancakes on the other side of this ring, of this field. Sports analogies are your things, not mine.
It's worth noting that Dusty has not lost a game in this entire tournament yet.
Yeah, a perfect 6-0 in Swiss, and has 2-0'd every opponent in the bracket en route to this finals appearance. That is no small feat. Pankraz took a couple losses here and there. He took a loss to Dia in these semis. And I believe he took a loss week 1 to Dia as well in Swiss. So Pankraz maybe has a bit of a chip on his shoulder, wants to take down the Titan that is Dusty, who is also our defending champion from Highway to the Theremis zone. So I wouldn't call it an upset if Pankraz performs well here, because he is one of our best racers, as evidenced by him being in the finals. But maybe there's people in the crowd who are favoring Dusty.
I'm a big fan of the Kane start. It makes it pretty easy to not have to get anchored to any specific looting strategy. What would you think about Get Sid? Are you thinking to check Kaipo early, or you just want to let it play right now?
I'm a huge fan of checking Kaipo early just to get that information, because either you find out that it's a Sid and you know that getting your sand ruby is an objective, or maybe you see an Edge or a Fu there, or even a Cecil. Even though we're not on T Wadish anymore, we still maybe want Cecil's if we can stumble into an X-Cal or a Crystal Sword. And so having that character knowledge early, while maybe also doing some of your shop checks, looking for Life Potion, Cursed Ring, stuff like that, maybe worth your time.
Yeah, I think as impartial broadcasters who just want the best show, definitely want that evil wall to be in a really nasty spot. Get it like at the Leviathan spot or something. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, Leviathan spot would be super nasty. Bahamut CPU spot, even though it's unlikely that it would be CPU and required unless Sid's also on the Giant. I wouldn't mind seeing it at King Queen on a hook route where you haven't really found many party members. Well, there's a Cecil. We've got a reverse vanilla start along with a Darkness Crystal and a palette swap vanilla, that being the Baron Guards or the Officer Soldier. Okay, well, there's instant moon access.
This was lightly randomized.
Yeah, just lightly, kind of shaken up just a little bit. This Early Darkness Crystal, this is my worst nightmare. I am Team Nevermoon in this flag set, and I held through to that up until my elimination. And I know Dusty is at least partially on that team with me. He definitely favors the Earth checks, but now, at any point in the seed, either of our runners could decide to head to the moon and maybe turn the tides if one of them has fallen behind.
Yeah, I think mostly with this is like a chance at a free food. So I think you'll see both runners do this very quickly, just in case. But yeah, it does kind of put a ticking clock on the rest of the seed as far as how long you want to stay.
Yeah, and you also, if you want to, take that Cave Bahamut, see what the fight is there. Maybe it's a free fight. Maybe you find King Queen Evelyn, or maybe you see that Evil Wall and go, oh no, that's a terrible spot for Evil Wall. Either way, it can be a bit of boss info if you are wanting to peek that early. We see Pankraz going to Castle Evelyn. This has been a pretty popular looting choice under the T-Crow flag here in the bracket stage. Gets a black sword. If he goes back in for that, that's already value, unless his Cecil started with one.
Yeah, it's good to check early on before you actually get in there, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of times, if I'm doing my looting... Oh, that Dwarf Axe is huge! Oh, man. Do you want to explain why that's such a good pull for this party?
Well, specifically, you can back up both characters, and Kane is a character who doesn't equip bows and arrows, which makes him immune to most of the ways to back row in this game. So the Dwarf Axe is one way you can actually do it. So that will open up some low-level strats for Pankraz early on.
Yeah, that Dwarf Axe being the only way of back rowing your Kane outside of glitches. You can tell what I was thinking when I said Yang there. Also found stuff like a ribbon. Lilith Rod isn't a bad Black Mage Rod. Overall, this has been a pretty profitable Castle Eblin dive. And Dusty showing us who's on the moon. And there's a Sid. Okay, well, there's objective number 5 already off the board.
Well, I mean, I thought this was supposed to be hard, but okay, I guess that's fine.
Yeah, I guess. There's a Charm Rod there in the right side of Castle Eblin, which is better than the Lilith Rod. Also, I believe that was the last trap chest for Pankraz, so I think he's got free reign of the looting from here on out. I could be wrong. He may have only found 2. Dusty, while up here on the moon, is going to go ahead and check this moon shop. This is a gated shop, so it can hold stuff like hourglasses, Bacchus wines, coffins. Sirens are very important in this flag set due to Vanilla Giant. But all we find is some cabins and some ether ones.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Cabins are the preferred HPN refill, I feel like. And then you got ether ones, which Dusty neglected, but I think are kind of underrated on these flag sets.
Yeah, those ether ones can be pretty huge early. And then also, if you happen to get a Tella, even though we've got Vanilla Giant on, there's nothing really stopping you from doing a D-Machine grind. You can't slingshot under this flag set, but they can be pretty useful. Or if you just happen to find a Tella and want to make use of him using some of his high MP spells like Wall or those tier 3 elemental spells, maybe you want a few ethers if you end up in a long kind of boss gauntlet, so to speak.
We saw the Darkness Sword on Dusty's screen when he checked his character's weapon, so Black Sword will be a boon for Pankraz early on.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It looks like Dusty found a Dancing Dagger up here, too, which is going to be nice if he comes across an Edward or, say, a Rydia. But that Blizzard Spear, there's a weapon for Kane. And Dusty going to give us a peek of this Cave Bahamut boss. I believe that was a Lunar Sparkle.
Yep, that's what it was.
So that gives us hardly any more information than we had before. But see a few of them throughout the seed, and you'll start getting an idea who that is. Best case scenario there, probably play maybe Wyvern just because the magic power sucks.
Well, or it's Ogopogo and you just never go there again. That's best case.
Yeah. Also very true. But we've got Dusty coming back to the Earth. Pankraz, after having done the loot of Castle Eblin, is launching his big whale. Will probably be going up, getting that Sid, getting that objective lit up. But now we see, where's Dusty going to go? He's got the Blizzard Spear, so he's got some offense. Maybe he decides he doesn't want to do any looting. He'll be missing out on that Dwarf Axe, and to a lesser degree that Black Sword. But looks like he's going south, going to Hypo and Watery Pass, maybe?
Wow, Watery Pass. Okay, that is the play.
And this is probably, just from my experience both playing these seeds and watching a lot of these races, the 2 big early loot plays are going to be Castle Eblin and Watery Pass. Watery Pass is a little bit faster because you don't have to worry about the trap chest, depending on how much of it you do want to loot. And after already having looted a little bit of Cave Bahamut, maybe he just wants to grab a few chests here. It is going all the way to the Waterfall, though.
Gotta get that Odin summon. It's incredibly important for the speed.
That Assassin Dagger, though, that actually could be kind of big if we come across something like Dark Imps or one of the other no boss bit bosses, and you want to be able to quickly kill them. Both these runners very capable of manipulating the ATB to get the proc on that Assassin Dagger near 100% of the time. But Dusty is going to come in here to Kaipo. Probably peek the Kaipo bed, just maybe see, is it a foo? Do I want to come back here? Is Xander be worth my time?
I don't know. That was another Sid, yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Well, there's one duplicate off the table. This flag set has 3 duplicates. There are Soma drops in the Kaipo Inn shop. I doubt we're going to see a purchase of one of those, considering our runner started with about 30,000 GP, and those are 20,000. So.
Wizard was ignored. Or Wizard.
And Pankraz coming back down to the earth. So both our runners have done a bit of early game looting. Looks like Dusty is going to be possibly looting Dancian, peeking the Waterfall boss potentially. Going to the Dancing Dagger here, I actually do like that. It's a bit more guaranteed early damage if you just use it as an item compared to the Blizzard Spear.
Yep,
oh my, what? I wonder if Dusty reset out of habit. Okay, he's not going to take it because you don't have the party for the high agility there. But now Dusty is like, okay, cool, I know where that is, so... Okay. I hope you made other plans tonight, Rivers, because we may not be here very long.
It's amusing that in a seed where both runners spent like 7 minutes looting, that 2 of the objectives were like, right here.
Here you go, have fun. Pankraz is showing us a Palom with the other free boss with the Sprite. So we're going to get double knowledge here on bosses. We now know that Officer Soldier is at the Bygant spot in the Baron Castle. That could be kind of interesting if you get an early Baron key. You know that, you already knew the boss was free, but Officer Soldier, in my opinion, is the freer of the 2 because there's so many ways to incapacitate the officer or just instantly kill him. So if you want to dive that maybe a bit earlier than you would, it's a very viable strategy now.
I've got a Gaia drum use from Pankraz to get rid of those free Pelham and a Soma drop reward from the 1 chest check.
Give Kane MP. He deserves it.
See ya.
All right, yep, there's a nice high five, and Pankraz is going to not fade Antlion. Very sad. But we'll be getting our first key item check here very shortly. Opting not to do any more looting. Has found what he wants. Isn't weighing these Antlion chests at all. Does he take the freebie? He does. Cool, and that's actually a weapon for Sid, so that was kind of nice.
Yeah, once you get the Soma drop, you don't need to loot everything else. I mean,
yeah, no, Soma drop was just like, all right, free seed, let's go.
It's all over now.
First key item check 9 minutes in after at least Dusty has knowledge that he's got 2 objectives in the bag. We find a very nice Odin here. Our starter kit gives us 10 Thor Rages. Odin, very, very weak. 2 lightning. 3 Thor Rages will clean this up.
I feel so bad for this boss in this spot, because it's not his fault that we need these Thor Rages to be in the kit so that the Hinato can be doable. But, he just gets lit up for it. It's not fair.
And well, okay, well, there is one half of another objective, also a way underground. I don't have any other plans tonight, Rivers. I cleared my schedule for this.
You might have to play some seeds.
I may have to.
The Ordeals first round here from Dustygriff.
Drop the save. That's good. Ordeals here. I like this. You've got some good equipment to get through this. You've picked up a couple of gems to this point, I believe, on Dusty's side. Get that Cecil online. And get another key item check, but also get Pelham a whole bunch of experience to get really close to getting Virus. Ordeals by itself, I don't believe is quite enough to get all the way to Virus, but after doing another check or 2, you should have that Virus online, which will really kind of speed up this early game.
We got a mute dagger buy here out of the rule for Pankraz.
That is a buy that I really, really love. That mute dagger can come in really, really clutch if you come across a nasty Maga Sisters or Asura, either one of which here on Ordeals would actually be really kind of annoying, especially Maga Sisters at the back attack spot.
And Bomb boss one here.
The Maga Sisters. I didn't mean for my witch powers to be active tonight, but never mind.
Oh, sure. You never mean it. I see. I see.
I didn't choose the witch life, Rivers. The witch life chose me.
I'm actually kind of curious about this Dusty routing. I'll have to ask him when we get into the interview, because he always plays a little bit conservatively, I feel like, and this really doesn't feel like something he would do normally.
Yeah, this is pretty aggressive routing. We see Pankraz kind of taking the more conservative traditional routing, going to Antlion, going over to Fabul, and Dusty is just beelining it for Ordeals. This is a play that I would expect to see if you had maybe had an Excalibur or a Crystal Sword in hand, or even just something like a Light Sword, where you really just want to get that Cecil online to really kind of speed up this early game. To that point, I think the best weapon we found for Cecil so far is like there's a Slumber Sword and a Fire Sword that your cane started with. So yeah, I would absolutely be interested to know what's going on through his head right now.
Out of those bombs, killing with the Blizzard. And Pankraz found life potions in Fabul, so that won't be a problem for him.
Yeah, and the key item for Fabul was the tower key, so no keyless tower tonight, but it does open up the option for, you know, the Penguinator special, or my favorite, the Vermilion Gambit. It is not advised to ever do the Vermilion Gambit, but, you know.
Hey, I mean, you know, if you're routing it aggressively, why not Vermilion Gambit, you know?
Okay. There was no hesitation there in the loading of the boss script, so this was Water Hag, but there's always a moment at the back attack where you see that blue robe and your heart kind of stops.
I would actually think the runners would like that gauntlet placement, only because it could be free levels for Paladin quick.
That is very true. I would just worry this party isn't really huge on a ton of AoE damage right now, and so it may be a bit of a slog, especially with Pankraz having already used 2 Gaia drums. It would be kind of a, oh man, that kind of feels bad. But just Water Hag, nice rod strats to get the 3rd hit there, and Water Hag will crumble. Dusty will do some inventory management, and we'll be on our way into the mirror room shortly.
We'd love to see the inventory management, folks. Ooh, Dark Wave getting some play.
Yeah, Dark Wave, I love to see it, especially here in early AoE situations with a Dark Knight Cecil. I want to see more runners use the Dark Wave. I think my favorite piece of tech is if you have a nasty early Valvalis that you can't really get through, but Dark Wave doesnn't care. It'll let you help you get through. Well, there's a pass. Not necessarily something we want for progression, but if we're going Jet Seed here, that's going to be helpful.
That is incentive to dive Moon in my book.
Oh yeah, because now you can dive Moon as early as you want to clear it out, and you're not going to be punished by having to come back. There's a Blarg. We don't really care too much. This spot's very, very nice. But it's really important that we know that Wyvern is now off the table, so any future Lunar Sparkles that we see, we don't have to worry about it being Wyvern.
I'm starting to believe these runners aren't going to get owned at all, and I'm very sad about that.
Yeah, it's almost like they're both really good at this flag set. I don't think the seed needed to pay them any more favors, but it seems to have been doing so. The most fortunate thing thus far is that we don't have a good Holy Sword. If we had one of those, then the seed is just playing too nice.
Well, there's a lot of ball game left.
Yeah, there's still a Baron check to be done for our overworld checks, and if that doesn't give us a Magma Key or any further checks, then we're looking at a hook route, unless we have the always cheeky Demist at Magus holding Magma Key.
We could still see the DKC at King Queen spot.
We could, and that is very, very nasty. But you do have a Sid, and he's got that nice chunk of HP, which makes it a little bit more manageable. But no White Mage thus far. It looks like Dusty is going to get back to normal routing. Yeah, go into Antlion. We'll take down this Odin, get his hook.
Dusty is still a couple levels shy of Virus, looks like.
Yeah.
Not that it really matters for this one.
Oh yeah, not for this one, but for the hook route, assuming this will be a hook route, it could matter quite a bit. Chat is pointing out something that is fairly insignificant right now, but could snowball out of control. Pankraz does not have the knowledge of that evil wall and waterfall right now. Now, with a hook in hand, when you go to launch the hovercraft, I imagine you go ahead and peek it while you're there. But if he doesn't, and he gets further into the seed and just forgets that he hasn't checked it, that could be pretty bad.
It could. But you would expect Pankraz to check that, so we'll see.
You would expect it, but I wouldn't put anything past either of these runners. We've already been surprised by Dusty going Ordeals before Antlion, so. Poor Odin eats a lit 2 for 2,000 damage.
Poor Odin. Never had a chance.
You missed a good opportunity just to say poured in.
Yeah, but I'm not the memes commentator. That's some people's job. It's not mine.
Okay, fair. You're just here to say no.
Well, no, and also make 90s music references.
Yeah. And Pankraz is going to show us our last guaranteed overworld key item check. Going ahead, back rowing that Cecil, just so that once he does heavy weapon to get him online, doesn't have to worry about that later. That Drain Sword, kind of nice. You have a, speaking of White Mage, you have a Dwarf Axe to do some agility manipulation. The Drain Sword does double duty in that it's good agility manipulation. And in the very, very rare circumstance that you get an alt gauntlet at Maga Sisters, if we didn't have this pal, that Drain Sword could come in handy.
Ooh, Dusty passing on that Mute Knife for now. Interesting.
Oh, well, there goes that dream.
Well, that's gone.
Just like a magma key down the well on a hook route. This actually hits kind of hard, so we actually see a rare Cure 1 cast from Cecil. Nice, 72.
Could be the difference. Nice one. But he does get a lecture.
Yeah. Tonight I learned that the reset on the script is just the fight command, I guess?
Yep. Just the fight command. You can throw as many spells as you want, or as many commands as you want at it.
Very good to know. And there is a vanilla Baron key, so that will get us access to that Officer Soldier fight. We're not as much on a boss hunt anymore, like Pankraz is. Pankraz doesn't know the evil wall is from Waterfall, but if we want to fade that hook, taking this Baron Castle play will get you another character, so that's a chance at a Fu is kind of the big one. Also maybe a Rosa to replace this Porum, who is just not as good. And then also another key item. Be it the Magna Key or not, it could be value.
Nice hat out at the top there, the ninja hat. Popping up, that's good for agility manipulation. Pankraz going right for the Baron play here.
Yeah, I like this a lot. The hook route could be still very dangerous, and we've only seen Wyvern, so there's still a chance that it's Valvalis or a Golbez that turns up on the hook route, and then you go, oh no, it is Baron Key. Okay, I should go back. But going to get this guaranteed info out of the way with a free Vigan spot. I really like this play.
Oh, but there's also a chance to Golbez or Valvalis is on Baron Throne, right?
I mean, if I was playing this seed, it's going to be Golbez on Baron Throne. Golbez just loves usurping Baron whenever I play, and like it is probably more than 50% of the bracket seeds that I've played in practice where I had to deal with that, and it's obnoxious.
It's great, isn't it?
It is great. It is a check where you're going into it blind. It's a deceptively nasty spot for Golbez, and the closest save point is a trek back into the sewer to take that safety save. So it's always whenever you that King Sprite disappears and the Golbez appears, you go, no, thank you.
A fun fact from the past is that when we were first setting up Free Enterprise, that was one of the very first seed rolls that I got, where I was like, we might need some safety check in this game.
And I saw a peek behind the curtain. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've always wondered. I was like, these are in a place for a reason. I'm curious about the reasons.
Yep, there was that. There was Valid for Bool. Made me think about her getting in that pool as well. Yeah.
And we see Dusty cleaning up Baron Inn, getting his Baron key. Pancakes taking a few extra chests here, not getting a ton from it. A nice Ether 1 could be useful down the line. Well, as you were mentioning earlier, Ether 1s can be a bit underrated, so it's nice to have one in your bag. But looks like the king of is not the king of Fabul. I guess just I don't know what is Yang's rank in the Fabul military. Anyway, he's here. He's usurping Baron today.
General Yang? Question mark.
I don't know about the military hierarchy of Fabul, but he's definitely in the wrong castle.
Well, maybe after he was brainwashed, she was like, I'm just going to take over the entire country now. Think about it.
Seems like a good plan. But this fight was also free by virtue of having that Cecil after the second kick is queued up. It doesn't have to go off as long as it's queued up. If you hit Yang with a Paladin Cecil, he'll say ouch and he'll run away.
And by hit, we mean target, because you can miss and it will still trigger.
What?
Yep.
Didn't know that. All right, that's cool. All right, Duplicate Palam, we can't take you, but thanks for playing. There's still one dupe on the table. I'm blown away that you can miss and make Yang say ouch.
That's vanilla.
I know, it's just... What are you saying ouch about? I missed you.
Well, that came awfully close, and it made me have a realization.
He tripped dodging out of the way and stubbed his toe.
Like Edward. Getting the long walk to the Baron trash can here.
Okay, well, that's not a key item, but that is a very good item. Crystal Ring being unique in an accessory is that it gives a bonus to agility. Very good for agility manipulation. Also makes you immune to paralysis. I believe resistant to dragons. And it's just also just a lot of defensive stats. But important for Pankraz, we were talking about Golbez. He has a Crystal Ring. He also has a ribbon that he found in Castle Eblin. Those two pieces of equipment on a single character will make sure that they are A, not paralyzed by Golbez, and B, not eaten by Shadow, which can make a Golbez fight very, very, very free.
That's one Dark Elf. He's like down in the basement. He's so dark.
I mean, the Drow like to live underground. Baron Basement makes perfect sense. That's actually a really interesting spot. If we had a Holy Sword, I wouldn't have been surprised to see Pankraz maybe try to take it there. But if we get any sort of hourglasses or any source of weak later on, then that becomes pretty appealing. There's an Elements that is off the table now.
Only one leg in the pool skill, not 1 1/4.
And Pankraz is going to go ahead and get his hovercraft. We'll see if he finds the evil wall. He's got the party strength at this point where I think he can just go ahead and take the evil wall and get that objective off the table. But going into the waterfall is going to be very important right now, and I am going to feel really awful if he doesn't take it just as a oh no type moment.
Spots though where like even if you find it, you might want to come back later still.
Yeah,
it's by no means like a free and easy fight right now.
Oh yeah, the waterfall has a ridiculously high agility, and then evil wall basically, I believe the script treats him like he's berserked because he enters the queue immediately with a fight command, and so he's just going to be, moving forward, hitting very, very rapidly. And this spot, doesn't have a small HP pool for its point in the game. Octomam is a fight that is designed behind its gimmick, to say the very least. FF4FE deciding to take it here. Should have the damage output to get it done, especially with that Yang jumping for nearly 1,000 damage. It'll just be a little bit annoying because of how many turns Evil is going to get and just eating up precious seconds each time.
The good news is Evil seems really stuck on targeting, the weakest characters in this party from damage. So,
yeah,
nice little virus.
Yeah, nice virus to finish it off, and FF4FE has lit up objective number 4. So someone in the chat wondering what the agility is here. This spot is the one of the speediest spots in the game. I think the only spots that are faster are elements, and I think maybe even just Seromas himself. It's weirdly fast for the point in the game you find it, but of course that is because as you attack Octomam and Vanilla, Octomam slows down to kind of counteract that. Unfortunately, other bosses don't have that gimmick when they're there.
Wow, take that, elements. Yeah.
Woo! Dusty,
you in the wrong spot.
Are you? I was like, Dusty's going to loot this, or is he just hedging his bet for a future foo? I'm not sure what that was about.
I would bet probably just hoping that foo will show up in the hook route here.
Well, there's a King Ryu grind in a shop. Hourglasses and sirens. You love to see it. We've already seen a couple of the hourglassable bosses off the table, but that Dark Elf is hourglassable. The back half of the Calbreno is hourglassable. Demist is still out there, so that those hourglasses outside of a grind do have quite a bit of use still, and then sirens are just always great to have.
Starting to believe we're not going to see a single grenade grind, and that's deeply sad.
Maybe we just have to curate the flags for the next tournament to encourage grenade grind servers.
Always gotta encourage the grenade grind.
Well, more dwarf axes. A headband, very, very nice equipment for one of your physical characters. An elven bow, also going to be pretty nice if we come across, say, an Asura here in the hook route, and maybe you want to use an archer to do some physical damage. Another siren, wow. I wonder if FF4FE was looking for the Mad Ogre, not the Mad Ogre chest, but the, no, that's fine.
Ooh, there's a nice little fight.
Yeah, so this is good news, bad news. Good news, you have an edge. Bad news number 1, I don't think we have any really good edge weapons. I think we found like a middle sword and maybe a boomerang.
There are ninja swords in the shop, I believe, but we can't buy them right now.
Yeah, they're very expensive, especially when you have Cell 0 on. So I don't think we'll be buying those, period. But the bigger bad news is Demist at Ruby is a very, very slow fight.
Yeah, I'm actually curious if that will drive us to the moon to grind a little bit.
Yeah. Also, goodbye Kane. Okay, we have a full moon for this Yang. Okay, why do I keep saying Yang? I am stuck on Yang rivers, and I don't know why. We have a full moon for this edge. I really want Yang to appear.
He did. He was on the throne. What more do you want?
I mean, I want him to be a part of my party. I see a boss in an RPG, and I just go, I want you in my party. That's how this works.
Well, is that the secret behind Playable Goldos?
Don't say those words. Don't bring that upon us.
I just want to see if Siren is real, okay?
I have not yet got her up to the point where she can talk in Twitch chat. It's fine.
All right, so well handled. Did have to use the hourglass for that, which might not have been what we were hoping for, but it's Berserk. Berserk, one of the major draws early on. Along with Quake.
Yeah, getting Berserk early is one of the main bits of value that Porum will bring to your party. With the Demist at Ruby, it's like you don't really want to Berserk that. That spot isn't going to do a ton with the counters. It's just very, very time consuming every time you have to sit through it. but having access to
what do we have to actually swing with anyway? That's the real thing.
Yeah, like full moon mute edge. We had, at least Dusty has Blizzard Sword, Blizzard Spear. Man, just all over the place tonight. Blizzard Spear on Kane, which actually makes me curious what he's going to do with this edge, because Pankraz ditched him because he didn't really have any weapons for him. Dusty has the Blizzard Spear. So do you ditch the Sid, even though Sid is a very, very good anchor option, especially having 84 facts already? Or do you maybe ditch the form and say, I'm going to hedge my bet on finding maybe a Rosa later? Or do you just say, no thank you, Edge, I don't need you today?
I'm probably dishing the Sid, the way it's set up.
I would too, especially with the knowledge that if you do happen upon a Sand Ruby, there is another Sid, so you can get your Sid back. He won't be fresh because of the no dupes flag. Everything that the Sid gained experience-wise will carry over, but you can always just get him right back. Wow, okay. Both runners saying no to the trader. Yeah, Blizzard Spear did not influence the decision whatsoever. Both runners say, I don't need you today, trader. Take a seat on the bench. And Pankraz finds the Meta Ogre chest, has that mute knife, has an hourglass remaining, has a couple still. Wonder if we're going to see some Bacchus wines stolen. You have access to hard casting Berserk, but Bacchus wines are very nice. Even just having a couple of them to kickstart a fight could be very, very useful here.
What you might see from this party, other than Talon casting spells at Demist, if they're both going for it, is you might see Berserk Edge followed up at a weak state and then bopped when it's about to be time to go to a Mist.
Yeah, very, very, very true. I could see if you still got a couple of these weapons that you found that we can't sell, you could also have Edge throw those in the early bits of the fight, and then move forward with the strategy you just mentioned, or maybe the other way around. Circ him and then res him and then throw after that. Either way, these runners, I expect to see some pretty high level play against this Demist, and I'm really excited for this hook route.
Chat really pointing out the two Soma drops burning the hole here.
There's a ninja sword. Didn't have to buy one.
That does help.
That helps quite a bit. Ninja Full Moon, very good combo. Kind of slow. The Full Moon animation isn't the best, but if you have Ninja Middle, that's also very serviceable. And if we happen to come across any other good ninja sword, then this Edge is very much well equipped. Has the headband, has the ninja shirt on, giving some agility, as well as very, very good magic defense and magic evade. So.
Well, the good news is Dusty seems as committed to these trap chests as Pankraz is, so both of them probably get at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dusty doesn't have access to the mute knife, but does have that assassin dagger, which can still swoon the Mad Ogres. We find CPU here at King Queen. This isn't awful. What you're scared of here is physical attacks, just because of how high the physical attack stat is here. This is going to be fairly trivial. It's a little speedy, but you've already gotten the defender taken down, so this is going to just be a rather speedy battle of attrition, especially with that dart doing 1,500 damage.
Bluff. We're gonna see a big quake here.
Yeah, absolutely. Bluff up a bit, get a bit more damage in, and then quake for anywhere from 2 to 3k to finish off both the CPU itself. I was gonna say, or the attacker, but Edge took care of that attacker with that Berserk. Wow, that was 1,400 damage. No fear of the globe had everything queued up to make sure that quake went off first. So now it's time for D.Mist.
Mutant knife for Dusty, but is getting the swoon procs here, so not a lot of time lost at least.
Yeah. The full moon animation taking a bit longer, but Pankraz wasn't one-shotting these with the with the Mute Knife. I saw at least one 1400 go out on one of these Mad Ogres, so probably about equivalent in the amount of time taken in this fight. But now we're going to buckle in for what's going to prove to be probably a medium-length Demist fight. I want to take this opportunity to shout out some of our people behind the scenes. We have Solaris on the restream tonight, who rolled this magnificent seed so far. And then we have the always wonderful Elamotas doing the tracking. And as I mentioned before, this guy named Rivers in the booth with me.
Yeah, could bring up the silver staff here, as Chad is saying. Could see some silver staff going on.
Oh, that is very, very true. Acts as a way to remove that berserk. A strat you don't see very often, but when you're at the highest levels of play in the finals of a tournament, you pull every trick out of the book to save a little bit of time that it can add up and be the difference at the end of the run. Now, the one thing that is currently on my mind with this Demist here at Ruby is after you defeat Demist, you walk into the room, you try and avoid the pitfall. You probably don't avoid it. I don't think I've ever seen anyone avoid the pitfall. It seems so trivial. Just don't walk on that tile. But then you launch the Falcon.
It's too bad there's 8 crystals there.
Right. But then you launch the Falcon, and then you're underground. Through all of that, while you're also planning your routing and stuff, don't forget to go check Demist at some point, because that is going to be another key item check.
I think if we see anything easy in top of tower, that's going to be a quick peek for both these players.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially with the tower key in hand, that is going to be a couple of checks there. The lower level trap chests are weighted pretty nicely. You don't super have a great way of taking them out quickly, but if you wanted to maybe get another couple shots at pulling a good Cecil weapon, that's always an option. But definitely the super cannon is trivial. So
Pour him down at the wrong time here.
Yep. Fortunately, that it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but when you're trying to get your Porum back up, you have got a Zerk edge swinging in, she doesn't quite get the chance to get the Silver Stuff off before she goes back down from eating a couple of Cold Mists. So.
Yeah, this is why I kind of prefer doing just outright killing with Virus to this setup. Can get a little finicky if you get unlucky. Dusty having a little revival here with the CPU as well, so not easy on this side either.
These are both fights that are very easy to control because you have very predictable damage from the CPU. And the Demist, you get this kind of reprieve when it's in the mist form, so very, very easy fights in the grand scheme of things, but doing them quickly is where they can get a bit tricky.
And I'm really glad that this one is out here because, a stage this big, our best runners, I feel like, I don't think that's controversial. You want to see them have to deal with this.
Yes, absolutely. If we had seen something along the lines of like a magma start into not very particularly tricky bosses, would have been fun to see them panic at a super jet seed, but seeing them deal with, a very high, something that rewards high skill like this hook route is just a delight. And Pankraz is through. Pankraz is now underground at about 40 minutes, which is very, very good considering a few of the extra things that had been done in the form of, going to the moon, getting the character, and what have you. 40 minutes is about my breakpoint benchmark of where I want to be getting underground into this fight set.
All right, hanging out top. Dusty also kind of hanging back here a little bit, not berserking.
we saw that didn't go super well for Pankraz. A little bit of time lost there. Now the damage that you lose not having, say, your edge berserked is going to slow down the fight as well, but I don't know how that math works out of whether or not eating a few counters is slower or not. Pankraz is, as you predicted, going right into this tower and is going to decide to take a few of these trap chests, maybe just grabbing the easy chest on the way up, stealing a few sirens. This is good. You don't have to worry about spending the money, but also going back into Cave Evelyn is not a particularly fast shot to get to. So being able to just grab a couple more to maybe flesh out how many you have is good.
Yeah, I think that was exactly one.
Exactly one. Had found one in the chest and I believe had bought a couple the first time through. So, usually 5 to 6 is what you're looking for if you've got 10 key items. Gets another ribbon. So if we do run into a Golbez, run into that Golbez, Shadow is going to be a little hungry.
But isn't he always?
Yeah. And Pankraz is going to go ahead and do Tower Key on the way up. And we have an Antlion. This is a very friendly spot to see this. You don't want to see this on the moon, so seeing it here, you love to see it.
Well, I want to see it on the moon for our runners.
Yeah, I want to see it on the moon from where I'm at, but if I was, down where they're at, this is great news.
Solaris just given all the gifts today.
Solaris is a very, very kind person. Could have stood to be a little bit less kind so far, but, it's just in his nature.
Ooh. That is not who Dusty wanted to hit down there.
Yeah, that was a bit of an ouch. I'm going to slow this encounter down a bit, but gets a bit of a reprieve every time it goes to Mistfaith. Pankraz is doing Penguinator special.
Well, there you have it. One thing to point out, though, is that Dusty used slow on this mist, whereas Pankraz did not. So when this mist does, turn to mist, it actually is costing a little bit more than you think.
Very, very true. Demist is one of those bosses where the math of whether or not you want to use slow on it is actually very interesting, because if you can get enough extra swings in to take away, a mist phase or two, then great, awesome. But it makes every mist phase you hit a little bit longer.
It's able to save the ether there as like looking at the black magic, like, oh no, I got to spend something, and then Edge does finally, mercifully, knock down that Demist.
Well, there's a Harp. So that is access to objective number 2, which means that Pankraz right now is a pink tail or both pieces of the forge away from Go Mode.
Gotta keep checking those freebies, right?
Yep, go to Feymarch, check the Feymarch freebie, and then we still got Sheila 1, and then that Demist is important. Penguinator Special could pay off here. Now, the cheeky thing would be if the top of tower happens to be that pink tail.
Yeah, that would feel really bad.
A nice piece of silverware there for Edge to yeet at a particularly nasty boss, which we could see one here in the Feymarch. Let's see who we've got. Well, there is a nasty boss on the left, and then a less nasty boss on the right.
Wow. Are we going to leave this?
Maybe going to save, just in case things go poorly. Well, hey, look, there's Star Rails right there. In case you didn't have any, there you go.
Thanks, Solaris.
So friendly. Oh, man. Well, Dusty is coming down the Feymarch as well, opting not to do the tower key right away. That could be huge, depending on how the seed plays out, but Dusty's going to get the same knowledge, going to get his spoon. We'll see if he decides to take this Bahamut, because Pankraz is going to take this Bahamut right now.
I'm going to use this seed as a job reference. That's how nice it is.
It's only got wonderful things to say. Go ahead and berserk up the edge, get a bit more damage out. You'll have the chance to life him back up if you want after this first Mega Nuke goes off. Gonna get these couple Star Rails up here to at least keep 2 characters alive.
Must be seeing the news.
No hesitation. Goes right in, says, yes, I will take this free fight. Thank you very much.
That does it for Pankraz.
All right. Is there value from the free fights? No. The Crystal Helmet is a good piece of equipment for very particular situations, but it is not a pigtail.
Hey, it's free experience.
It is also free experience, this is true. Though the Fey March is not particularly high experience, so it's more a consolation prize than anything.
Listen, when that, what is it, like +5 will comes in handy on that Cecil Cure 2 cast, you will eat those words, Zoe.
I will eat those words, and I won't even eat them with any sauce. No ranch, nothing, just straight up words, fresh out of the bag, and now I'm just thinking about baby carrots.
I was thinking about potato chips, but works too.
Yeah, that sounds good too. All right, Pankraz has set up Sheila 1, gonna go back to the world. Don't forget Demist. Please don't forget Demist.
Oh, come on, Demist wants to be forgotten. It only took like 5 minutes every time instead of 10. Look at that hangdog Demist expression. He just wants to be left alone.
All right, Pankraz, not forgetting, gonna talk to Radia's mom. She is going to use a smoke bomb and disappear and leave behind a key item or a piece of treasure. Okay, this is why you park on the right side of Mist.
If it's a food, you take it.
I do. I don't have a good holy sword yet. The Cecil's not doing much. A food would be very nice, but Pankraz deciding not even to peek it.
Never want that temptation in his life.
You know, there is value to that. You don't have to answer the question if you never get presented with it, I guess.
Deny that the question exists.
But yes, for anybody that's picking up for Enterprise and wanting to learn, always park on the right side of Mist when you're checking Demist, because if she gives you the finish the sentence. If she gives you the package, you don't have to walk back through and trigger the cutscene. But there's a holy sword, so never mind what I said about Cecil not being online.
Oh, there's that dark elf again.
And if Pankraz has an hourglass as well, you don't necessarily need it because holy swords tear through dark elf. But if you want to take it now, maybe you do. Maybe after Twin Harp, because if Twin Harp's Pinktail, then you're just in go mode.
Yeah, just do Twin first and then head on over. Seems like there's about to be some music in our lives.
I think so.
Do you know why they started randomizing that music?
If I had to guess, it's because listening to the same song over and over is kind of boring. But I'd be happy to know what the actual answer is.
Oh, I think Board just liked to have fun, you know?
Oh, that's good.
Fun's good.
But fun is good, yes. Dusty, yes, good. Dusty parking here in front of the tower. Likely going to go ahead and get his Twin Harp. We'll see if he decides to take what's at the top of the tower. But this is very good. Has his Excal Cecil. So I imagine he's gearing up for top of tower, whereas xPankraz probably didn't feel like a Lunar Sparkle without any particularly good weaponry was on the table.
Yeah, it's the thing about how the timing of the seed can kind of work out. If Dusty happens to get something great out of that, he'll feel really, really happy with himself. And then if he doesn't, then Pankraz just saved like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially if it is a particularly nasty boss up at the top there. We'll have to see exactly what lies in our future. But here is a Dark Elf that is going to not get a chance to take out our party because Pankraz says, "You can't fire me. I quit."
I'm told that we have some extra special, brand new songs for me to talk over right now.
Yeah, absolutely. This one is a Xenocat composition. Xenocat, fantastic member of our community. It is not brand new. I believe this was just hand-picked for the seed. But Xenocat, fantastic member of the community, does a lot of work.
I feel even less bad for talking over it now.
Yeah, exactly. Does a lot of work for the Restream team and is very knowledgeable. 10 out of 10 community member.
A+ would recommend.
+1 to that. Yeah, Xenocat's right here. Xenocat doesn't mind if we talk over their song composition.
I think that's great. That's great, yeah. So what do you think this boss is going to be?
I'm thinking we're going to get a Serum. Nope, DM's okay.
Oh, that's disappointing.
This will be over quickly, so there's not much more music for us to talk over.
All right, so what is Dusty going to find up here on top of the tower? That is the big question for the seed.
Looks like a dancing lunar sparkle so far. This Schrodinger's boss. And that's a Pale Dim. Okay, no, the Excal does not help here. Oh my god!
Well then.
Okay, so that's a hard required harp, and that is a go mode for Pankraz. Okay, so coming up to the top of the tower is actually going to work against Dusty.
So how do you grind this party?
That's actually what I was literally just thinking that because Pankraz has 2, 4, 6, 8 key items, which is, I was wondering if the top of tower could potentially pay off into 10 key items. It still could if we get something like a pan here. That would be kind of interesting for that perspective. But yeah, I think eggs. You've got easy access to sirens. On Dusty's set, you have once Dusty gets to this point, has an assassin dagger to make eggs go very quickly. xCal also does that work for you pretty well, and we could see something like a crystal sword here. I would laugh very hard to see a Dragoon Spear here, though.
Yeah, it's 9. It'll be 9 once we get the crystal turn in, so that does kind of open up possibility of doing Dark Elf.
Very, very true. Always forget to include the crystal in my calculations. Dusty, you closed that too quickly. Also,
that was a weapon sword.
Okay, so it's value, but not as valuable as what's in the super cannon room.
Well, I heard you like xCals, so.
Yeah, and that the xCal that Pankraz just got, we can't dual wield them, but Edge sure can throw that one. So that's going to be between that and the spoon. That's quite a bit of damage for the Seromas fight.
Dusty follows out of here with goes right to Twin Harp. This could still be pretty close if he has the Denki items versus 9.
Yeah, it looks like Pankraz has come back in probably to try and steal some sirens, not have to go back into Cape Evelyn. But yeah, with the Legend Sword in hand, if Dusty, goes straight for Twin Harp, and also while there's also remembers to check Demist for that package, will end up with 10 key items to Pankraz tonight.
Finally, some Cry Porum strats on the stream. That's what we've all been waiting for.
The lovely Cry Porum strats. Cry supposed to increase the chance for enemies to run away. That mechanic was scrapped, but it still affects that memory address, which just so happens to be the steal modifier, or something. Weird FF4 interactions.
Go ahead and describe it, yeah.
Weird FF4 interactions because you would never see Porum and Edge together in Vanilla Party. Dusty, you can't walk over Mist. You have to actually walk into Mist.
Dusty take two if it's here? Oh, man.
Oh, man. You know, with this party, you've got the X-Cal, you've got the Edge that's decently equipped. You got I'd say you take the Foo, if only so you don't have to take Palom all the way to Nuke. That would be my only thought there.
Another question unanswered.
Darn you. So yeah, this is going to come down to, does a 10 key, okay, that's also going to help Pankraz's case. Does having a 10th key item on Dusty's side make up the time that he is currently behind Pankraz? That is what this race is currently boiling down to.
Well, I'm inclined to say probably not, but I'm not positive.
I think it really could go either way. Either one of these runners is more than capable of going in with a slightly underleveled party and nerfing big bangs, doing what you've got to do to make sure that you can take out Seromas. So, you know, the traditional thought here is probably, you know, take your Palom all the way to Nuke. Without 10 key items, that can take a long time with eggs, so maybe you go a bit earlier, and whereas Dusty, maybe you do go all the way to Nuke.
The interesting thing from that perspective is that with Sid down, you kind of lose your Porum safety valve. And it doesn't look like we have any interest in reviving him for the rest of these fights either.
Yeah, it looks like the Sid, because all we have as far as agility manipulation for the Sid is that Dwarf Axe. Having a Curse Ring here would be huge just because it would allow you to take him all the way up into his like 50s and still have him serve as a perfect anchor, but you got to keep him a bit lower when all you have is a Dwarf Axe. So yeah, but as you said, gets rid of the Porum safety valve. Porum does not have the HP growth of Rosa. If she goes down on the Seromas fight, it could go a little sideways. And you normally like to have someone with high HP to counteract that.
You don't like sideways in Seromas fights. It's not what you're aiming for.
All right, I'm being told that I think we have to not talk this time.
No, I disagree, actually. But actually, we don't have a lot to talk about, so that's fine, whatever.
It's a matter of convenience this time.
All right, we can talk again.
I think so. Yeah, unless Solaris muted us. But that is now Dusty lights up object number 2, gets his pink tail, is now in go mode as well. We'll be getting 10 key items. But Pankraz has a huge head start on this grind. I think even if they were going to get an equivalent amount of experience, Pankraz has already passed the halfway point of his grind. So this is going to come down to Seromas, I think.
You know, it's the interesting part about it is Dusty entered Underground probably about 4 or 5 minutes behind Pankraz, and like if it had been even, maybe this would have been enough to really swing it one way or the other, but it wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely. That Underground could really be the difference in regard to access, because Dusty made up quite a bit of time, and then kind of fell back behind again by getting the Legend Sword there at the top of tower. But the benefit that benefit is probably going to make up and pay for itself. But you're absolutely right. That difference getting underground is probably going to be similar to the margin between them if things hold and Pankraz gets the Z fight that he wants to get.
Hey, so I remember we were talking really early on in the seed about how that Darkness Crystal might matter.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't.
No, not at all.
At this point, there could only be an adamant or a way to the adamant on the moon, because everything else was found on Earth. Now, it could have mattered if one of our runners had decided to go do the moon, but they didn't. So here we are.
Definitely going to actually purchase the sirens, it looks like.
I don't hate it. You save a bit of time, especially when you've got 10 key items. You're only going to need a small handful, whereas Pankraz knew that he was going to need a bit more, so stealing it was better because I don't think he could have afforded all the ones he wanted to buy. Pankraz is done, is leaving the eggs behind, and we don't have to go to the moon. We have a pass in hand, so we're heading into Seromas, and I want to see those Z flags in chat, everybody.
What's the Z flag for?
I just want them to root for me. That's what it is, right? Zoe. That, or they are for Scala Kitty. You know, Z is wonderful. Or they're tired. I mean, I don't know how you could be tired. We've only been here an hour.
No, don't have time to be tired.
But the real answer is we're going in, and the whole spiel is there's going to be a randomized Seromas spread. I'm not going to go on to that, but we're in the finals, which means we're going to get special Z sprites. They're not exactly randomized, but it's going to be a special deal. I'm very curious to see what Scala has cooked up for the Lali-Ho League Finals. And Rivers, I've never done comms with you, so I would love it if you want to ask that question.
Whose cutie patootie booty are we going to nudie?
Nailed it. 10 out of 10. Perfect. And then the follow-up question is cutie patootie cute?
Of course. I have faith in Scala for this one.
All right, and there goes the crystal. Seromas is going to do his thing, get upset, and his true colors are going to emerge into Dustygriff 2.
Electric Boogaloo. It's cute.
No, it's Dustygriff 2 acoustic Boogaloo. That's clearly an acoustic guitar.
Truth. No bongos though.
No bongos. So can Pankraz defeat Dustygriff to take this game one? Oh, sorry, Dustygriff 2 to take this game one. I keep seeing the Dustygriff 2 in like my instinct is to think that there are 2 units in this fight. Being Dusty Miss.
Right. There are 2 Seromas on the screen now. We've really amplified the challenge for Pankraz here.
Well, I mean, isn't there actually 2 Seromas on the screen? One of them is just not targetable.
Yeah, there is. The old sprite just dummies away, doesn't actually leave. So this is going to be for Pankraz a fight of nerfing, basically. We have Cure 4, but everybody has very low HP besides the Jonky.
Yeah, we don't have Cure 4.
We don't.
It looks like
4. No, we have Cure 3.
Pankraz grinded until Porum had 1200 HP to survive a nerfed Big Bang.
That's what we got.
So yeah, this is all nerfs all night. Whereas Dusty over there with 10 items is grinding out to a bit more of a power overwhelming strat. So this fight is anything but done for Pankraz. This could go sideways really, really quickly, and Dusty could easily get back in this. But if Pankraz can execute, and I have full faith that Pankraz can execute, he will be going into game 2 with a 1-0 advantage.
Big Bang 1, I believe. No problem.
Yeah, not a problem there at all. That's the easy one to nerf, so. Now for everyone in chat who is either a free enterprise racer or has thought about getting to free enterprise racing, this is my challenge to you. In the next tournament, don't let there be a Dustymus 3.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of there being like 10 Dusty sprites, like there are 10 Sephiroth sprites or whatever.
Yeah, we got the 1% chance for Sephiroth, the 1% chance for Dusty.
Each and every one of them has him playing a different instrument.
Could just be, he's a band all of his own.
These virus casts are doing some real work for us, for Pankraz over the course of this battle, actually. Like, you don't really think about them very much at the moment, but they're really fast, and you know they're stacking 2K a turn here.
Yeah, absolutely. Have we? I feel like we've got to be approaching this refill, which can make the nerfing timing a bit dicier.
It's the flex and nuke. That's real nice.
Yeah, nice extra little bit of damage on Seromas. Good old. That's pretty beefy swing there from Cecil. And here comes another Big Bang. Oh, Edge. Hi. How you feeling?
He had 47 more HP than he needed. All right, and Dusty will be in the fight as Pankraz is in it.
Yeah, and with Dusty's levels, I see this going very, very smoothly. So this is Pankraz's if he clutches it out, but if he takes a wipe, advantage Dusty. But Dusty is going to throw his crystal momentarily, and we'll see who Dusty is facing, because I have a feeling it's not going to be Dustymus 2.
Well, what if it's Dustymus 3?
You must fight yourself. This is just like the mirror room on Mount Ordeals. Oh, there's rocks.
Those are some rocks. Ah!
Okay, well, goodbye, you two. And I love it. I was hoping for a stack of pancakes, but we got Pankraz.
Those are some cool kicks for Pankraz.
Yeah, I love those.
Anyway, there's no tension going on Pankraz's side, of course. I mean, just very easy going.
Yeah, no, nice and smooth. And there we go. There's the crumble, the crack, bang, boom, and Pankraz takes game 1 of the Lali-Ho League Finals with an official race spot time of 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 29 seconds. And I hear the familiar ba-dunk in my ear. I believe we're joined by Pankraz himself. How are you doing? And GG's.
GG's feeling great. Feeling great. Can't pretty happy with how I played that seed and glad to come away with a win.
Yeah, and just of note, that's Dusty's first loss this tournament.
Where?
So huge GG's there. You're one win away from taking this whole thing, but how did you feel? That was a very generous seed, especially early on. And then you had a relatively smooth Seromas considering the strat you went in there with. How are you feeling throughout that?
I'm feeling pretty all right. There was a little bit of a section around like the 30-ish minute mark when I saw the Demist on the hook crowd, where everything just felt instantly bogged down, but that's just how Demist is going to be in that spot. After that, it was, doing the half tower play, finding the dirty double at the Twin Harp, just sort of entered that state of like, okay, I can only focus on what is the one thing I need to do next, or else I'm going to get swallowed up in the jet seed. And that turned into, do I have money for sirens? No, steal them. Okay, we have sirens, let's grind. We're done with the grind. Porum has 1200 HP. We just have to keep going, keep pushing on, and hoping that it's enough to get through and get ahead of Dusty.
Pankraz, if you win the tournament, will you give half of your title to Penguinator?
Ooh, that's hard to say. I mean, it didn't help me in this race, so I'll definitely consider it. But I think with a tournament title under his belt already, he doesn't need half of mine.
Yeah, the half tower play there was huge. Dusty ended up getting the Excal from Sheila 1 before going into tower, so took the top of tower. There was a Paladin up there holding a Legend Sword, which got him to 10 key items once he got the crystal. But between that slight bit of extra time and the fact that he was underground a few minutes behind you, that's really kind of where the difference is. I think he was about 4 minutes behind underground, and he has just finished just under 3 minutes behind you. So that is a super close race for how fast this seed went, and that was quite terrifying to watch.
It was terrifying to play. The crystal appeared. I can definitely say that. I wanted to specifically ask about going for Evelyn Castle early on. We saw a lot of resets there, but you also picked up a lot of good stuff there. Is that becoming the Pankraz meta? I definitely like it in these table flags. Evelyn Castle, it's like a slightly higher chance at the tier 4 and tier 5 loot, and that's all you need to get going in the early game for the most part. I loot until I find, one, maybe two good things, depending on what my party needs to get strong. And in this seed, I got the Dwarf Axe, the Gaia Drum, a Karate Shirt, a Ribbon, of all things. A whole bunch of like little things that could definitely help out later on in the seed. And in a lot of my practice and a lot of my previous tourney races, Evelyn Castle's provided on that front. It's not 100%. Sometimes it's just it completely falls flat. Those have happened too. But most times I'll find at least one thing that can get the ball rolling and get over that early game slump that oftentimes can hit.
Yeah, I personally love the Castle Upland dive, and yours paid off in spades. None of the big heavy hitters, you didn't get anything like a Gungnir or anything like that, but a lot of really good utility items. So
Definitely.
That was you had the black sword there too, I believe.
Yeah,
that was huge.
That was pretty helpful. You didn't get to swing it much, but it helped against like Mom Bomb with the extra damage, against the... That's about it.
Yeah, it helped.
But the Gaia drum helped against the Magus sisters. There were a whole bunch of little... The ribbon helped in the Z fight, which is part of the reason I felt comfortable going in so low leveled, because I had 2 ribbons and I could slap one on my barely 1200 HP Porum and my Cecil, and try to keep them safe from big bangs.
Yeah. One of the big things on my mind is, what did you think? Because you got to the moon, you find your objective Sid, and then by the time you decide to go grab your hook, you end up checking Waterfall Cave, and hey, look, there's your evil wall. What are you thinking in that exact moment, realizing, oh, there's already 2 of my objectives off the table?
It's hard to say. It's one of those situations where, like, the moon, if I had the right party for it, could be pretty viable right now. Trying to find Halves of Forge, trying to find the pink tail up there. There are a lot of little things that I was thinking about, like, as I'm booting up the hovercraft, but when, seeing the Demist, seeing not a Tella to let me go and do Gold Dragons, or a Fu to let me go and do Gold Dragons, really kind of cemented my path, for me at least. I didn't want to be going to the moon with this party, especially with just Fire Sword on Cecil, and without any big heavy hitters like a Fu, like a Tella to grind, like a... That's about it. The moon option was there, and I was thinking about it because there was such a potential to just be having to go, find the pink tail, find the legend sword, like both in the ribbon room, avoid the underground completely or something. It was weird to find the evil wall there, and to have both of my random objectives out of the way very early, and I just had to hope that Earth would deliver the goods, and it did.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one last question before I let the Rivers ask me anything before we get Dusty in here. And it has already left my mind. Wow, Zoe.
I can sympathize with that all too well.
No, it's just gone. It's just gone. No.
All right. Well, big GGs. Are you going to change anything for your next race?
Probably not. Seemed to work out for this one. So
I remembered
I'm to keep playing my game.
Was there any reason you didn't peek the package to maybe find something like a Fu?
At that point, I was very happy with my party for the most part. I figured I was 1 item away from go mode at that point. I just need to find a pink tail. Let me finish checking everything. And if it's a Fu, if it's anything but Fu, it's time loss. And if it's a Fu, I don't think it's worth the little extra time to get him at that point, because I 1 key item away from go mode.
Perfectly understandable.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for the GGs, for the commentary, for the restream. I'm looking forward to watching it all back and seeing the show that was put on, and seeing what little time saves I can eke out for next time, or further answer your question, Rivers. Not planning to change much. I play my game, and I play it pretty well, and it worked out for this one, so hopefully it works out in the next one.
One more win, and you make a bigger witch out of me.
Fingers crossed. But either way, GG's again to Dusty, and you all have a fantastic rest of the night.
Thank you very much.
And there's Dusty.
Hello.
Hi, Dusty. GG's.
Hi, GG's.
Hey, Dusty.
Hi.
Losing, what's it like?
It's a different feeling, It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been what, since ZZ3 finals?
Yeah. Flurry gave me my last dagger, so. And I guess Pankraz felt some strife from our semifinals from ZZ3, so had it out for me here, so fair.
Can you tell us a little bit about the early game for you specifically? Because normally we kind of see you play a very methodical game, and this time you went right to Ordeals. What was driving that in your mind?
I felt it's funny because I think last series I did something similar, and it's not something I really do as ham as that. And this time around, it was just kind of like another similar instance where I felt super strong. I had a Palom that had level 2 spells, like even had a stack of cabins I think I found from Hummingway, and had, you know, Sid and Kane. So I was like, I could probably just take on whatever here. So if I can get Cecil online sooner, and if I potentially find a Holy Sword or whatever for him, even better. So it was one of those things. If I felt pretty strong, it's kind of, I kind of hate doing Ordeals that early because you can get good speed out of just putting it off, but also it can also, depending on how it goes, push you forward really quickly if you get something good for Cecil. But it worked out pretty good, but it was a little more of a different play for me.
I guess I would follow up by asking you about those poor elements next to the Mist Cave that you just decided to waste. what was going on there?
I just had some grief with them. You know, someone's finally got to put them in their place. It's you know, they've been reigning for far too long. I've been doing this thing. I kind of have this mindset now, where if it's like a hold A fight or a fight that can do one action and clear, at Mist, I'll just do it in case it's Fu, because I hadn't checked Hook at that point yet, so I wasn't sure if it was Fu there. So I just want to get rid of it just to get another boss ticked off.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking, and then you went and grabbed that first chest, which, you know, could pay off. That Mist Cave is weighted similarly to stuff like Watery Pass, so it could have been something huge, but it was very funny. We were just like, oh, yeah. Okay, goodbye, elements. But
so really fast seed, huh?
yeah, that moved pretty quick and moved very quick into, you know, the first part of the first 40 minutes or so were kind of like, I wouldn't say a slog, but they weren't necessarily the fattest thing, but it's one of those seeds where we hit the pedal pretty quick once we got to Underworld, and hitting that's always scary because every single thing you do ahead of that just is, you're like, oh god, all these minutes added up. You know, where did I lose? And especially against someone like Pankraz, I'm like, I felt a little bad about how a couple things went there, like getting Excal from Sheila 1 and then just getting an Excal from the Pinktail anyways. Is like, oh, that feels bad because like I would waste that time, but and things like that. But yeah, other than that, felt pretty good overall to play in my seed, or in the play of the seed. If Cecil could please roll more than 1800 damage on Excal hits at like 32. So Sirens fight took forever because it couldn't roll for me. But yeah, it was all right. But definitely some things I already know for next match that I'll probably be trying to address. So
yeah, and for those that haven't looked at the website, aren't intimately familiar with the schedule, when is that game 2 going to be?
It'll be Friday at 8 p.m. same time, same start time as tonight. So
yeah, same channel. It'll be right back here on RPG Limit Break. But yeah, you're now playing from behind. You need to win these last 2 to take your second consecutive tournament. How are you feeling? Are you going to change up much of your gameplay, or maybe just try and tighten a few of those loose bolts in your execution? I say those loose bolts. I've seen you play. There's not that many.
I'm not sure. I've got to throw the game plan out the window or something. I'm not used to this. It's in this tournament at least. It's been a, you know, I've had I won't say a totally lucky streak, but there's some luck involved, obviously. I've been happy about my play for a lot of this tournament, but at the same time, there's been things I've done that I could improve. And against someone like Pankraz, you can't really do stuff like that. You know, every misstep is going to be taken advantage of. So yeah, for next seed, probably pretty similar to what I usually do. And it's interesting because in some ways I want to play somewhat more conservative in terms of putting off things like Ordeals and still doing Antlion earlier and things like that, but also be more aggressive. Maybe make a moon play next seed. Who knows? We had that moon just looking at us this seed. Really glad I didn't do it, but but at the same time, you know, sometimes it's like you got to roll the dice a little bit. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be a bit of thinking time between now and Friday.
I say you use this time, go out, invest in a bigger fork, because I think the stack of pancakes is bigger than anyone expected.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's all I've got, so I'll let you finish this up, Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, all the questions on the table. I wish you the best of luck in preparing for Game 2, and GG's.
Yeah, it's GG's, and GG's to Pankraz as well. I'm super hyped to have another matchup against Pankraz because I really respect Pankraz a lot as a runner. I think he's done a lot to step up the game of Free Enterprise as a whole, because when racers like Pankraz come around, like everyone else has to be better. So really big GG's. I'm really looking forward to Friday, and thank you Rivers and Zoe for commentating tonight, Solaris for restreaming, Motas for doing the tracking. Appreciate it, and yeah, looking forward to Friday.
Thank you for putting on a good show. I'm sure the rest of us are looking forward to Friday as well. But that is going to be it for us here tonight. I think we're going on a raid or something like that, Rivers. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to go to That's Fair Zach, who's going to be doing some Sea Hero runs. So join us Friday. Again, thank you to our behind-the-scenes team, Motas on the tracking, Solaris on the restream, and Zoe, you crushed it. Great job.
Thank you very much. And you did as well. This was a delight, Rivers. I'm so happy I got a chance to do commentary with you, especially for a match as hype as this one. That's going to be it for us. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you on Friday.
And don't spoil.
Oh, yeah, no spoils, or you get the bonk.